Moving on. During last night's show, we brought you a special report on long COVID. It's a very real condition that's affecting something like 15 million Americans and maybe as many as 240,000 Oregonians. That's a lot of folks. Some brand new research into long COVID was just published today that will help us answer a question that you mailed in last night. Wendy wrote in, "I was waiting to hear if they knew why some people get long COVID and others don't." The straight answer is no, they don't know. But they are making discoveries on a path toward an answer there. A new study from the University of Washington School of Medicine, again just published today, identified the 12 most common symptoms of long COVID. More on those in a moment. But the study also found that there were certain factors that appear to make people more likely to develop severe cases of long COVID. Here's what they are. People who were not vaccinated, those who were infected with COVID multiple times, or people who had their infection before the 2021 Omicron variant surge. And it's worth noting this was not a small sample size. They looked at more than 9,700 people. About 8,600 of those people had COVID at least 6 months before, and 1,100 who had not been infected. Out of the reports of 200 different symptoms, here are the 12 that will help researchers distinguish patients who likely have long COVID compared to those who feel symptoms like this because of different conditions. Here's the list: post-exertion malaise, fatigue, brain fog, dizziness, gastrointestinal problems, heart palpitations, issues with sexual desire or capacity, loss of smell or taste, thirst, chronic cough, chest pain, abnormal movements. In our story last night, the two people we talked with who are suffering from long COVID, they experienced a number of those symptoms, and many of you got in touch with us as well. Sue wrote in to tell us, "I caught COVID-19 September of 2020. I haven't been right since. I was able to go back to work, but it took a long time to get my strength back up. I still have brain fog. I get diarrhea or vomit at any time and for no reason. I now have congestive heart failure. It really sucks." Thanks for your segment on long COVID.
I lost my job back in September of last year because of long COVID, and it's been a struggle. It's been just a real struggle. All the symptoms mentioned on TV are very real, and it's amazing how many people still think that you're just being lazy, that you just don't want to do anything. But thank you guys for highlighting this illness and this continued problem with COVID. And thanks for letting people know that COVID is not over. It's just in a different form right now.
And thanks for your message, Everett. And Connie emailed us, "I have dealt with it myself for over 3 years, much like people in your story. I don't recognize myself in my life. I was once an extremely active person traveling all over the world, and now I can barely do anything and struggle to stay working at least part-time. At least hearing about it on the news still gives me hope that we have not been forgotten."
Thank you for addressing the long COVID subject. I have had a similar autoimmune disease, chronic fatigue disease, for 25 years now. I have been suffering these symptoms that you described in the article and have been clearly hopeless. But now I see that they are working on it, and perhaps there is a future.
Thanks for your message, Annette. We'll end with this email that we got from Stephanie. "Thanks for doing the special on long COVID this evening, especially right now as the world moves on and pretends the pandemic is over, ignoring the millions of us who have been left disabled by mild infections." She said her parents have struggled to understand her symptoms until they saw our story. Something finally clicked for them to see this described on the news, to know that it is a thing that can happen after COVID and that I'm not crazy or just a weird case. I hope it reached those suffering, their families and their doctors, as well as those who have dropped all COVID precautions, thinking there is nothing left to fear. Thanks for your message. And we're not advocating for you to live in fear like it's the summer of 2020 all over again, but you should recognize that for thousands of Oregonians, maybe your family, friends, or neighbors, COVID-19 is still a very real threat to their well-being.